Welcome back, everyone, to another interview from the Women's Lacrosse Network. Today, I'm joined with rising senior on the Wesleyan Women's Lacrosse team, Maddie Shoemaker. Maddie, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And how is everything going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Well, how is your off season going so far? And do you have any plans this summer, whether it's on or off the field, to get ready for fall ball in a few months?
Yeah, so my off season's been going well. We actually finished only like 2 weeks ago, so I'm just starting with my like summer packet and settling into lifting and running and everything like that. And this summer, just obviously continuing to focus on growing my game. But outside of lacrosse, I'm interning for this leadership academy that I actually did in high school called Live Like Blaine. Um, and a lot of lacrosse players actually did it with me as well. So it was really cool, but I'm going to be doing social media and development for them out in Ballackinwood. So, and then I'll be doing a little bit of coaching for the Dames Lacrosse Club in my area, and then some one-on-one and group lessons with girls in my area as well.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of fun. Do you
Mhm.
think coaching gives you a different perspective on the game that you might not see that easily if you're playing?
I think definitely, yeah. I grew up with my mom as my coach, so I think I had a little bit of insight in that way. And I was always interested in potentially coaching after college as well. I'm not sure if I will do that, but maybe eventually in the future. I think it just makes you understand the game a lot better since you're not focused on um, efficiency as much as like when you're in the game, you're always wanting to score or get the ball back. I think it really allows you to like focus on like the tactics and like different skills that go into a team meshing together and how to do those little things correctly.
Now, what are some things you want to get better at and work on this summer?
I think the game has gotten so fast and like skilled. So I think there's always going to be something that I want to add to my toolbox, especially with like the WLL right now, like getting to watch that. There's just so many things that are impressive and I want to get better at. But I'm a crease and inside player, so I would say like finishing inside is definitely the most one of my like most important jobs, and so I think just continue working on that and being able to catch and finish anything in front of the net. um and then I guess one major thing that I like really want to be able to get really good at is like an overhand power shot from the eight, I guess. I've always been more of a sidearm person, so I want to be able to do that and do it from both hashes. So I'll be working on that a lot this summer.
Yeah, yeah, obviously you want to improve that toolbox as best as you can. So I'm totally with you on that. And I'm curious, watching the WLL, is there any player in that league that you try to model your game after when you're watching it?
Um, that's a good question. I really like the way Sydney Black plays. She played at Loyola, and I always paid attention to like how she played, and she was such a great player. I think like how fluid her stick is just so impressive. And then maybe like Ashley Humphrey, 'cause she's such a great feeder. She has such a eye for the field. So the two of them I really enjoy watching.
So let's transition now and start from the beginning of your career and kind of work all the way down to where we are today. So, reading your bio, it says that you're from Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Talk about
Mhm.
your hometown and the things you like about it for someone who's never been there before.
Garnet Valley is great. I'm here right now. It's a small town outside of Philadelphia. It's about 25 minutes away from Philly. I've lived here my entire life, so I don't know much else, but um, I have four older siblings, so it's a big part of our family life and just like the high schools are great. We all went to Garnet Valley High School and it's a really friendly community. I've all my best friends live here. My mom taught at the high school before we were born, so it was a really smooth transition and like going through all of the schools. But yeah, it's a great town. Couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah.
One of
Growing up,
my
yeah, I'm just curious, like when you were growing up, what sports did you play and how did lacrosse become the one that you wanted to pursue?
so growing up, I played a lot of different sports. With having siblings older than me, it was definitely just like a huge part of our like daily life and on the weekends, especially going to games and everything like that. And my parents both played sports in college, so it was very like just natural for all of us to like want to play. So I started out with basketball, lacrosse, and soccer probably when I was like 4, and then that slowly transitioned to field hockey, lacrosse, and basketball. And I also competitively swam for a while, which was really fun. Um, and just something to do in the summer. And then I really started focusing on lacrosse, I would say, in middle school. I was obsessed with field hockey too, and it was, I think the two of them, I tried to do like every travel team and like tournament that I could do. A lot of my friends played with me too, so it was just like a social activity for me. I think I always knew I wanted to play lacrosse in college, with it being so popular in Garnet Valley. It was just kind of like that's what you wanted to do if you played lacrosse. Um, so I think, yeah, in middle school, I definitely had some feelings of like, oh, maybe I'll play both field hockey and lacrosse. And then I eventually wasn't allowed to play field hockey anymore with some hip injuries. But yeah, I've always wanted to play in college for lacrosse. So it was an easy choice.
Yeah. Are you the youngest of four?
A youngest of 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's it like being the youngest? Do you think that's built up your toughness, I imagine?
I do think so, yeah. It's funny you say that because my coach was just saying the other day, I think there's two different routes of being the youngest of a big family, and you can be like to take like a being like to get taken care of, or you can be like tough and resilient. And I definitely like to get taken care of sometimes, but I do think I have 3 brothers as well, and um, I think they made me very tough. So. It's definitely something I'm very grateful for because it made me who I am. So,
Now, talk a little bit about your club and high school lacrosse experiences and what your favorite memory is from your time there.
um, I played for Garnet Valley High School, under Coach Jenny Dooley. And I mean, I can't say enough about how great it was. Since my, honestly, so my sisters played before me, and I had just was so excited to like get to the high school and be a part of the program. She played field hockey at Penn State, my coach, and so she had like such high expectations and standards for us. So it made it a really great like commitment, and everybody that was part of the team knew like how much you wanted to give and how much we wanted to be successful, and it made it so much fun. I mean, like a lot of them are still my best friends. And so I was really lucky to be able to be a part of like a really serious program in high school. And it allowed me to be really prepared for college as well. My favorite memory, there are so many that are unforgettable, but I think my junior year we were in state playoffs, and I think it was to advance to like the final 8 or something like that, quarterfinals. And my team was playing Owen J. Roberts, and we beat them in triple overtime. And we had played them 2 times previously that season, and we were 1-1. So it was a big game, and it was a really, really fun win, and totally remember it still.
Oh,
So,
yeah. You won the series. That's the way you got to look at it.
yes,
So,
exactly. 2-1. Yeah, it was great.
how did your time with those teams you think help prepare you for college?
Yeah, so I think so I for club lacrosse I played for Ultimate Chester County, and I think I had such a rare experience because my team actually stayed together, minus maybe one or additionally two girls going in and out. But for 7 years, we were basically the exact same team because we didn't hold tryouts for our specific team. So we got to play together for all of those years, and it was girls from all different high schools. So we like really meshed and really bonded. It was literally like fifth to 12th grade. So I like had such a bond with those girls, and my coach, Coach Bowers, Lynn Bowers, she's actually a referee for Division 1 girls lacrosse. She just reffed the national championship, actually. She also played in college, and she did such a good job in like preparing us for what it would be like in college and like that competitive aspect, and also just like teaching us. I mean, she helped us grow up, I think, a lot of the time, and she taught us like what it meant to be like a female athlete alongside my high school coach. She did such a good job in just teaching us all of the different things about hard work, character, success, commitment, and just like being a part of a team. And so I don't think that I had a huge adjustment to college lacrosse because of how much they supported us in that and just made it a really serious and fun time with both of those teams.
Now, talk a little bit about your recruiting process to Wesleyan and why you chose to go there and go to the Division 3 route versus other schools you might have looked at.
hmm So I definitely had a little bit of a different recruiting process. I had a big surgery in high school, and the crucial time of recruiting after September 1st. But I always say it's a blessing in disguise because I was first looking at a few D1 schools and had my eyes set on like the Patriot League. And this was my junior year. And then, with going through a recovery, it kind of stalled my process. But then senior year, I started to look more at Division 3 and go to some of those prospect camps. And my really good family friend had actually played at Wesleyan on the men's team, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you just look at some of the NESCACs? Like, why don't you look at Wesleyan?" And that began my NESCAC search and looking at some of those, and I became so impressed with, the high academics and standards that they carry, and then alongside just being a really competitive league, especially with women's lacrosse. So I got in contact with my coach, Coach Williams, and yeah, it was like a month turnaround of contact and then meeting them, and I was very sold. It was just a great connection, and then I loved the campus, I loved the girls, and it was a easy decision in my book. I think it stood out for a lot of reasons against the other schools. And I think the people, I always go back to the people. I think they really helped sell me.
Now, talk a little bit about playing in the NESCAC and just the conference and the competition you face each game.
Yeah, so the NESCAC, like I just said, it's so competitive, and I'm we all feel so lucky that we get to play in such a highly competitive league, because it prepares us for NCAAs so much. And so we prepare every game the same, no matter the competition, just because of how good each team is in the NESCAC. And so the past 2 years, we were able to go to the national, or the, sorry, not national, the NESCAC championship, and or the past 3 years we did it twice. And so it's so rewarding getting there because you know that you play in the best league in Division 3. And but people always say if you're going to the NESCAC championship, you're most likely going to the national championship. And I do think that's true because of how competitive it is throughout the entire season. And we're just well prepared. And I think Middlebury and Tufts, they have great programs. And I think those are our top two competitors. And we just have such great games with them each year. And it's really something I look forward to get to play such high like competition lacrosse.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about your team's, I guess, runs in the national
Mhm.
tournament after the NESCAC championship games. So over the past 3 years, your team has gotten better at the NCAA tournament, going from finishing in the quarterfinals and then to finishing in the NCAA championship game this past season. From
Mhm.
your perspective, what has your team done to improve over the past 3 years and move further in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think each year with commitment and hard work and the drive to want to get there has been the same. I think our talent and our skill level, again, we all work really hard to like keep that and make it better each year. I think this year especially, we had a group of 12 seniors that nothing they wanted more was to win a national championship. And I think that was the same for most of the team as well. And it rubbed off on us a lot. I just think we wanted it so bad and we were going to do anything to get there. And, I think my coach knew that too. And she also would do anything for us to get there, um, as well as my assistants. And I think yeah, I don't think much has changed, and I think we all know that we could have gotten there each year, but I think this year it was just all gas, no brakes. We didn't give up. We believed in ourselves each game, and I think that was a really special thing, and I'm looking forward to doing the same thing next year.
Yeah, obviously, I want to talk a little bit more about that national championship game that just happened. So,
Mhm.
obviously, you guys lost to Middlebury. I'm just curious, how do you get over a significant loss like that? And what did you learn from that experience that you hope can help you as a senior heading into the following season?
Yeah, I hate losing. It's one of my least favorite things. I'm very competitive, and I think our entire team feels the same way about losing. And, like I said, we always believed we were going to win that game. And so walking away from something that we thought we deserved and worked so hard to get there was really hard when you don't win. And so I wanted it so badly for my teammates. I wanted it so badly for that group of seniors. And our entire team just like really wanted to walk away with it. And so I think now our slogan for this year was more to give. And I think that will carry over into next year. I think we just want to walk away with the trophy next year and we'll do again whatever it takes to get there. So, I think it's hard to think about a loss as productive, but I think that's what you have to do in terms of like we played the longest we could have played and we got to that very last day. So I think we were all very, very proud of ourselves for that. And I think next year that's going to make us want it even more. We got a taste of it and now we get to go and get it. So.
Yeah, I kind of want to ask one more follow-up question on that
Mhm.
game. So obviously, what are the emotions heading into the off season? When you think about that, is it mostly anger? Is it sadness? Is it frustration? And how do you try to handle those emotions in the off season? Is it more like I'm gonna use this game as fuel for next year, or is it like it's gonna do me no good to just dwell on this game? I have to find a way to move on. I'm just curious, what's your mindset on that this off season, especially as an athlete?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, I definitely think about like the past season as like motivation while in the off season. And, you don't, like you said, you don't want to dwell on games for a while. Um, I personally don't think that's super productive, but I do think, especially since we played a fellow NESCAC team and we are guaranteed to play them again even in the regular season. I think that's definitely like adds fuel to the fire and definitely something that I want to be thinking about while training, especially getting back to school. And I think it definitely does motivate me and the rest of the team um, to, want to like beat Middlebury regular season and do it again in the national championship.
So obviously, like I've mentioned a lot of times throughout this interview, next year you're going to be a senior, and with that
hmm
title comes leadership responsibilities. In your opinion, what does good leadership look like? And would you consider yourself a vocal or lead by example type of player?
So yeah, I think leadership and leading by example and being vocal are all things that can go hand in hand. And I think what good leadership looks like is being able to be that reliable, trustworthy teammate. Um, we have a slogan called TRAP on our team, and it's trust, resilience, attitude, pride, and pressure. And so I think specifically for our team, a good leader looks like really buying into all of those words and all of the meaning of those words and really embodying trap each day, whether anyone's looking or not. And I think for me personally, I'm definitely an outgoing person. I'm outspoken and I have no problem speaking in front of a group. But I do think on the field, I'm more of a lead by example. I think with my mom being my coach my entire life, I was kind of always had that mindset of, be that teammate that somebody can come up and ask questions and be that teammate that they can lean on or, be the hype person that they can ask to hype them up after a bad play or something like that. So I think I have different ways of leading in a lot of different situations. But yeah, I would say leading by example, especially in sports, is something that's very really important. But I love to speak and hype up my team as well, so I'll always be vocal too.
Yeah. Well, on the field, what do you think's been the biggest improvement you've made to your game since your freshman year?
That's a good question. I think my creativity has gotten a lot better. I think like coming in, I played a lot of crease in high school and I was more so like a quarterback and fed the ball a lot and would take 1v1s, but I think in club I got to finish in a lot of different ways, like in front of the net. And so I think freshman year was freshman to sophomore year, especially for me, was a big transition in finding ways to score, no matter what. So I think, yeah, I think I've really worked hard on just being able to put the ball in the back of the net in different ways. So yeah, I would say my creativity.
Now, Wesleyan is a very good academic university. You talked about one of the reasons why you decided to go there was because of the academics. How have you learned to balance academics and lacrosse at such a high level?
Yeah, so I think growing up, we always had a high standard in my family for academics, but it wasn't really anything that was pressured. So, I always kind of set a high standard for myself, but I do think transitioning from high school, I went to public high school and Garden Valley's academics was really good. But going to Wesleyan, it was a little bit of a difference. Um, and I think our coach does a really good job in making sure that we are student first and athlete second. And I think that's one of the main things that the NESCAC also does a really good job in, because in the fall, we don't have games or scrimmages. We only have those 10 issued practices with our coach. And so it allows us to really be able to focus on our academics. And Yeah, I think the scene at Wesleyan is very driven, especially in the athletics. So, everybody holds themselves to a high standard on the field, and that goes for off the field as well. So I think just being around those types of people also just makes you kind of lock into whatever you're doing, whether that be a test, studying, or a lift. So it's been really fun to get to challenge myself in that way.
What's your major and have you taken any cool classes and projects since you've been in college because of your major?
Yeah, so I'm a psychology major and an education studies minor, and Wesleyan has an open curriculum, so there's not necessarily a strict curriculum you have to take outside of finishing your major requirements. So I've taken a lot of cool classes. This one doesn't go along directly with my major, but I think my favorite one was what I took this past year, called Theory of Coaching, which was with our athletic director, Coach Whalen. And it was fascinating. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I always thought about maybe coaching later in life. And um, Coach Whalen was a former football coach for Wesleyan, and he just does such a great job in like telling stories. And then he brings in people, coaches from our school and other schools, and then um, people that are just in the world of athletics. So I've gotten to meet a lot of different people through that class. A few people that worked for ESPN and a few sports psychologists. So it was really cool.
Did Coach Belichick come?
He did not,
Oh,
no, unfortunately. I'm sure in the future he will, but not for our class.
it always happens the year after you take the class when something
Exactly.
like that happens. That seems
Yes.
to be my luck at least. So,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
that's cool. Who do you, is there like something about coaching that you didn't realize when you took that class? Like when you're watching a lacrosse game, is it like, man, like Jenny Levy does a good job doing this, and like you didn't realize that until you took the class, and maybe something that I'm just curious about that when you're watching the game now.
Yeah, I think for me, you can tell when that coach like is all about coaching. And for my coach specifically, like she was meant to be a coach, and like you can tell like pressure. My coach always says pressure is a privilege, and like those coaches that buy into the pressure, instead of like falling to it and they rise to the pressure, you can tell, because they'll never settle. And I think like, yeah, watching those high Division One coaches, they care so much about their players, and you can see it on like on TV, and you can tell when they're just like so about it. And my coach, when she got here at Wesleyan, I think it's now going on 12 years, she really turned the program around. So for me, it's really obvious that she cares so much about us, and she wants to experience us winning just as much as she wants to win herself. So it's really special to get to see that.
Now, last lacrosse question I want to ask you before we get to the non-lacrosse segment is what's your favorite memory with Wesleyan lacrosse so far?
Oh, that's a tough one. I have so many great memories from our team. I think this year I would have to say that my favorite memory was when we beat Trinity on our home field to advance to the Final Four. Um, there's nothing quite like that. All of our alumni were there, and we got to sprint over to them. It was at Wesleyan, so a lot of people got to come, and we got to pour our water jug on our coach, punch the ticket. So it was a great feeling, and it was also against an SCAC team, which I think makes it that much sweeter.
Oh yeah. Well, now we're in a segment I like to call the non-lacrosse segment. I like to end off every podcast doing one just to get to know you more off the field.
Yep.
And I can answer some of these as well if you need some time to think about a question. So, first one is if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Ooh. Hmm. I'd have to think of like some brunette. Um, Maybe Sandra Bullock. I really like her. I don't think I look like her at all, but I think she's a great actress and she's always funny in movies, so maybe her.
Now, where is one place you would love to travel to soon?
Maybe I would say Greece. I hopefully our grade at Wesleyan wants to travel there after next year, so maybe I'll get to go there.
Yeah. Besides yourself, who has the best style on the team?
Um, I would say maybe my roommate Anna Claire or rising junior Kate Morey. They have really good clothes. Steal their closet all the time.
Now, that last non-lacrosse question is what's been the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week or just recently?
Um, Not, I mean, interesting in a sad way, but I just read about Charlotte North's injury, and I think that really, I mean, I was shocked to see that. And I think it just goes to show how much adversity each lacrosse player goes through in a long career, especially. But um, yeah, I was so interested to see that, and I don't know, I guess I don't know the full injury yet. I don't know if anybody does, but I'm interested to see how she goes about that and
Yeah.
see her recovery.
Yeah, if there's anything that we know about Charlotte North, she always comes back even stronger. So I imagine she's going to
Yes,
be even stronger next when she comes back from that injury. So
very true.
wishing her all the best and a speedy recovery as well from that.
Yeah.
Now, last question I want to ask you, Maddie, any shout outs you want to give and who should we have on the podcast next?
Um, I would say Bree on the Ohio Wesleyan lacrosse team. She's a character, and I got to play lacrosse with her abroad in Amsterdam, and she would be a great addition.
Well, Maddie, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the pod. I really appreciate your time. I think you're a great player and an even better person, and I just want to let you know that. And best of
Thank
luck
you.
next season as in your final year of lacrosse. I can't wait to see what your team accomplishes.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here. Thanks for having me.